What is home? Yes, we have our homeland Israel, and yes, we have homes throughout the diaspora. But our current reality is complex. Israel's at war, and anti-Semitism is rising around the world. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for this question of home? Join me, Izzy, as I speak with Israeli and diaspora Jewry to better understand this new complex reality and unpack where we put ourselves in this physical and spiritual war. This is the My Israel Narrative podcast.
I think what you're describing is beautiful, and I just follow up by asking, do you think that concept of home that you're describing here is something that we could take with us from place to place?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that, the Jewish people have had many homes around the world. Myself as an individual, I was born in Australia. I now live in Israel, and I've spent time in multiple different places. But I would say that when I talk about Australia, I talk about it as a house. When I talk about Israel, I talk about it as a home. And I think, therefore, there's different types of homes. There's different levels of homes. And while in all of them we grow up and they allow us a place and a space to grow up and to become the best people we can, there's a broader context and broader narrative when that home is rooted in the Jewish destiny, which is in the state of Israel, which is in the ancestral homeland. This is when home and land come together. The word homeland is a land that actually, is the basis for this home. As opposed to just being in a house or a home, when you're in your homeland, that home actually dissipates and connects and integrates even beyond the four walls of where you live. And therefore, while you can, and your home can be in different places and move with you, at the end of the day, it stays transient except for one place for the Jewish people, and that's in Israel, our homeland.
Beautiful. I wanted to also ask just what Israel means to you. I don't know if you have more to add than just what you beautifully shared there about it being a homeland. But
to me, Israel is what's Israel? I'm just in love with this place. I absolutely, feel at one and at home everywhere in Israel. And just like in your home, it's the place where your family live. I feel like all of Am Yisrael, all the Jewish people that live in this place are my family. And it's a real existential change and paradigm shift in my entire being when I'm sitting here in Israel. I feel like we are on the front rows of history. I'm not someone that likes to just spectate. I like to participate. I like to actively engage. And our history is being written right now. The history of our future as a Jewish people is being written right here in Israel. And so to be part of that is absolutely incredible, both in the terrible times like what we recently experienced on October 7th, and through the jubilation and the camaraderie and the collaboration and the commitment that comes across this entire country. It's also the land of our Tanakh, of our Torah, of our Bible. And it's the land that comes to life. When I'm able to learn verses from the Torah with my children and then walk in those exact places, it takes, this place to another level. It deepens the experience. It's also the place where I feel like in and of itself, it's a living organism. The Talmud talks about rabbis that used to roll in the dust and roll in the sand of this place because it's got a certain kedusha, a certain holiness. There's a certain sense that it's not just land, it's a living organism in and of itself. And therefore, just like, we don't have a relationship per se with inanimate objects, but we do with animate beings. If you look at Israel as an animate being with a different level of holiness, then it's not just a place we live in, it's actually a place that we have a relationship with. And it's something that we can actually build and develop that relationship through. It's also the place where I feel, at most myself. It's not just me as an individual. I'm part of a broader collective in the deepest sense of the word. And I really feel, that's amazing. One of the greatest ways to find yourself is by losing yourself in something greater than yourself. People often think today that you find yourself just by looking into yourself. And I think it's the opposite. It happens as a byproduct of losing yourself in something greater than yourself. There's nothing greater on a personal level as part of the Jewish people for me to lose myself in than the Jewish people in the land of Israel. And so I really feel like here I found myself by losing myself in something greater than myself.
I love that. I think I could relate to some extent, really.
Fantastic.
Thanks for listening to another episode of My Israel Narrative. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow along and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Yisrael Chai.